Hey there, Soil Secret Studio community. Welcome back to the channel. If you're serious about transforming your garden from the ground up, literally, then you're in the right place. Today we're settling a debate that's been brewing in the organic gardening world. Which microbial powerhouse truly deserves a spot in your garden toolkit? We're pitting JADAM Microbial Solution against traditional fermented leaf tea in a head-to-head comparison that will help you make the smartest choice for your soil's future. Let's get into it. Before we compare these two approaches, let's talk about why we're even having this conversation. Healthy soil isn't just about growing bigger tomatoes or showier flowers, though those are nice bonuses. What we're really after is building a living, breathing ecosystem underground that functions as nature intended. When your soil is teeming with diverse microorganisms, bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and beneficial nematodes, everything else falls into place. Nutrients cycle efficiently, plant diseases get suppressed naturally, soil structure improves, and your plants develop the kind of resilience that no synthetic fertilizer can provide. This is the foundation of regenerative gardening, and it's why choosing the right microbial input matters so much. JADAM Microbial Solution and fermented leaf tea both promise to boost your soil's biological activity, but they take fundamentally different approaches. JADAM focuses on capturing and multiplying the complete indigenous microbial community from undisturbed forest soils, essentially rewilding your garden beds with the full diversity nature has perfected over millennia. Fermented leaf tea, on the other hand, tends to emphasize nutrient extraction and often produces a more bacterial dominant profile that serves as both a fertilizer and biological supplement. The differences might seem subtle at first, but as we'll see, they have profound implications for your garden's long-term health. Let's break down how each solution is made, because understanding the process reveals a lot about what you're ultimately applying to your soil. JADAM Microbial Solution starts with a trip to your local forest, or any undisturbed natural area where you can collect leaf mold, that dark, crumbly soil found just beneath the surface layer of leaves. This material is absolutely loaded with indigenous microorganisms, perfectly adapted to your local climate and conditions. You'll combine this leaf mold with a simple food source like boiled and mashed potato, a pinch of sea salt, and non-chlorinated water in a large container. The key here is simplicity and speed. Within 2 to 5 days, depending on temperature, you'll see vigorous foaming at the surface, signaling that your microbial army has multiplied and is ready for deployment. The entire process costs pennies and requires no special equipment beyond a bucket and some patience. Fermented leaf tea takes a different route. You'll gather fresh plant materials, weeds, grass clippings, crop residues, whatever green matter you have available, and submerge them in water to ferment. The typical approach involves chopping the materials finely, mixing them with water at roughly equal ratios, and letting the whole thing sit for 7 to 10 days with daily stirring. The fermentation process breaks down the plant tissue, releasing nutrients into the liquid, while also cultivating a microbial population. However, this population tends to be narrower in diversity compared to JADAM, often skewing heavily bacterial, especially if the fermentation happens anaerobically. Some gardeners enhance their leaf teas with compost or finished vermicompost to boost microbial diversity, moving closer to an actively aerated compost tea, but the standard leaf tea remains primarily a nutrient extraction method with microbial activity as a secondary benefit. When we set up controlled comparisons between these two approaches, the differences become striking. Imagine for a moment 2 identical garden beds, same soil type, same plants, same watering schedule. The only variable is whether they receive JADAM Microbial Solution or fermented leaf tea. The JADAM-treated soil shows something remarkable under microscopic examination, a thriving, diverse community that closely resembles what you'd find in pristine forest soil. You'll see fungal hyphae weaving through soil particles, creating that crucial soil structure. you'll observe protozoa hunting bacteria, which triggers nutrient release in plant-available forms. The entire soil food web appears alive and functioning. Compare that to soil, treated with standard fermented leaf tea, and you'll typically see a different picture. There's certainly microbial activity, often abundant bacterial populations, but the diversity doesn't match what JADAM delivers. Fungal populations might be present, but usually less robust. The soil food web exists, but it's incomplete, missing some of the ecological complexity that drives truly regenerative soil function. Plant growth metrics tell a similar story. Studies have documented that JADAM-treated plants often show superior height, more abundant foliage, and more extensive root development compared to those receiving standard fermented teas, even when nutrient levels are comparable. So what does this mean for your garden, in practical terms? JADAM Microbial Solution functions as a comprehensive biological reset button for tired, depleted soils. When you apply it, you're not just adding microbes, you're reintroducing an entire functional ecosystem. This community gets to work immediately, breaking up compaction, mineralizing nutrients, suppressing disease organisms through competitive exclusion, and building soil organic matter. The speed at which JADAM transforms soil is genuinely impressive, with noticeable improvements often visible within a single growing season. Fermented leaf tea serves a different but still valuable role. It excels as a nutrient delivery system, providing readily available plant food while adding some biological activity. For gardens that already have decent microbial diversity, leaf tea can maintain and enhance what's there while feeding plants. It's particularly useful as a regular feeding program during the growing season. However, if your goal is to rebuild degraded soil or establish a truly complete soil food web, leaf tea alone won't get you all the way there. The microbial profile simply isn't diverse enough to replicate what nature builds in undisturbed ecosystems. Here's the bottom line. JADAM Microbial Solution and fermented leaf tea aren't necessarily competitors. They're complementary tools with different strengths. If you're working with depleted soil, struggling with persistent disease pressure, or trying to transition from conventional to regenerative methods, JADAM should be your foundation. Use it to re-establish that complete microbial community, then maintain it with regular applications throughout the season. Once your soil biology is thriving, fermented leaf tea becomes an excellent supplemental feeding strategy, delivering nutrients while supporting the microbial community you've built. For those of you planning your 2026 garden, consider starting the season with a strong JADAM application to set the stage, then switching to fermented leaf tea for regular feeding every few weeks. This combination gives you both the biological diversity and the nutritional support your plants crave. The beauty of both methods is their accessibility. No expensive inputs, no complicated equipment, just you working with nature to build genuinely healthy soil. I want to hear from you in the comments. Have you tried either of these methods? What results have you seen? What other microbial experiments would you like us to explore on this channel? And if you found this comparison valuable, hit that subscribe button and share this video with your gardening friends. Together, we're building a community of soil stewards who understand that the real magic happens underground. Until next time, keep feeding that soil food web.